But the message that God put on my heart for you today is called Build a Life That Will Stand. It isn't just a choice. It all comes together because, some of you just returned from the tech challenge, right? Who was involved in that? Okay. Thank you for that. Was it fun?
Yes.
It seemed like a great day. You were asked to build a structure that could survive what? A storm. Yes. You didn't begin by just putting the pieces together, hoping that it would all work. You had to think about what you were building, right? You used mathematics and physics to figure out how can we do it. You considered all the forces that were going to be pushing against that structure. You worked on a plan. You made decisions about its shape, its foundation, and how everything was going to fit together. And then what did you do? You tested it. I heard you guys got a thing that went like this, right? You create something to see if it would stand. But now that structure may have looked good standing on the table, sitting there. But that wasn't enough. Just the way it looked. It had to face the storm. That was the challenge. The test was going to reveal whether the work you did, whether the calculations you did were correct, whether the foundation was strong, and whether the structure had been built properly. Then you went to the event. And you got to stand in front of all the people and explain your project. You talked about the blueprint probably, the materials that you were using, the decisions you made, and why do you believe that structure could stand? You were not only showing them what you had built, you were explaining to them why it should survive the storm. The same thing is true of your life, not just that science project. Right now, each of you is building something. You may not have gone away to go to present that, but you are building something. Right now, you are building the person that you will become. Did you ever think about that? You're your own tech challenge. Your choices are becoming part of the structure. Your habits are becoming part of that structure. Your friendships, your attitudes, your words, your work, what you do when no one is watching is becoming part of your life. Because I'm telling you this, and it's a promise. One day, storms will come. And those storms are going to reveal how you built your life. The beautiful thing is that Jesus used that exact example as if he knew you were going to the tech challenge. He wrote in Matthew 7, verse 24, he told a story. He said, anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on the rock. Though the rain comes in torrents and the floodwaters rise and the winds beat against that house, it will not collapse, because it was built on bedrock. But anyone who hears my teaching and doesn't obey is foolish. It's just like a person that builds a great house on sand. So he told this story about these two men that came to build the houses. One was on a rock, one was on the sand. And when they were finished, they may have looked the same. Maybe some of your projects look the same, but they did better when the wind came up, right? One did better than the other. Both may have had good walls. They may have had strong doors and a roof. And when the weather was calm and the sun was shining, everything looked great. You couldn't tell the difference. The storm didn't. But Jesus says when the rain came, the water rose and the wind beat against both houses. The house built on the rock remained standing, while the one on sand collapsed. The storm didn't create the weakness. The weakness had been there from the beginning. What the storm did was reveal it. In the same way, the storm did not make that first house strong. It revealed the strength that had already been built into it. Jesus then explained to his guys what he meant. He said the wise person is the one who hears his words and puts them into practice. That person is like the builder who built it on the rock. The foolish person heard it. He heard the words. Everyone here has heard the words. I know Wes has been pouring into you. You heard the words. But the foolish person hears them, but doesn't live by it. And that person is building on sand. Both builders heard the word, but only one obeyed. Many of you know a great deal about Jesus. It was awesome. Mom Kim said, "What's the verse about our future?" And I heard the name of the book, and then I heard, the chapter. And by the time we got to the actual verse, everybody said 11. You know it. You've heard it. You attend this Christian school, you hear about the Bible being taught, you pray, you were beautiful in your singing. Your voices are so strong now. It was awesome. Those are good things, but knowing what Jesus said is not the same as doing what Jesus said. Jesus did not say that the wise person is the one who has heard the most teaching. He said the wise person hears his words and puts them into practice. This isn't a tech challenge for you. This is a life challenge for you. You can know that lying is wrong. Still do it. You can know that cheating is wrong and still cheat. You can know that you should respect other people and still insult them or exclude them or bully them. You can know that you should forgive but still hold on to bitterness. And you can know that you should work hard and still waste the opportunities that have been given to you. Knowledge only strengthens your life when you act upon it. The students who entered the Tech Challenge needed knowledge of mathematics and physics, but the formulas couldn't remain in the notebook. The knowledge had to shape and build the structure. Their understanding had to become action. And the same is true in your faith. The teachings of Jesus must move from this Bible into your decisions. It must shape how you speak, how you treat one another, how you treat other people, how you respond to correction, how you choose your friends, and what you do when nobody else knows what's going on. You may think that you're too young to be building your life, but you're already doing it. Every day you're laying part of that foundation. When you tell the truth, even though the truth might bring consequences, you're building on the rock. When you refuse to cheat, even though other people are doing it, you're building on the rock. When you refuse to join in while another student is being laughed at or mistreated, you're building on the rock. When you respect your parents, your teachers, your classmates, your school workers, you're building on the rock. When you study because you understand the value of education, not only because someone is forcing you, you're building on the rock. When you admit that you're wrong, apologize, and try and make it right, you're building on the rock. When you pray and ask God for wisdom before making a decision, you're building on the rock. Most lives do not collapse because of one enormous decision made in any one moment. Weakness is often built slowly through very small compromises. One lie makes the next lie. It's easier. One act of cheating, and it becomes a habit. One wrong friendship can begin influencing many other choices, and one secret behavior can become very difficult to stop. One refusal to accept correction can grow into pride. One decision to follow the crowd can make it harder to stand alone the next time. At first, none of these decisions seem very serious, you guys. The house still looks fine. The sun is still shining and nothing has collapsed yet. But a storm tests what appearances cannot show. Some people build their lives on popularity. They make decisions based on what will cause other people to accept them. But popularity is like sand because people's opinions change. Have you ever had that happen? Some build their lives on feelings. If it feels good, they do it. If something feels difficult, they avoid it. But feelings change, and they're not always trustworthy. Some build their lives on success. They believe they are valuable only when they're winning, receiving high marks, being praised, winning a tech challenge. But everyone will eventually experience disappointment or failure. Some build their lives on the approval of friends. They allow other people to decide what is right and wrong for them. But friends can be mistaken. The crowd can move together in the wrong direction. Jesus offers a stronger foundation. He gives us truth that does not change according to our feelings or circumstances or the opinions of other people. He teaches us how to love, forgive, speak truthfully, serve others, resist temptation, and live with courage. Building on Jesus does not mean that storms will never come. The Word doesn't teach that. In his story, both houses experienced the storm. Following Jesus does not mean that you will never face pressure or disappointment or temptation, family problems, failure, rejection, all those things. It means that when those things come, there's going to be something strong underneath your life. So let's think about the tech challenge. You didn't begin preparing the structure after the storm had started. By then it would have been too late. The planning, the calculations, the construction, all that strengthening needed to happen before the test. That's how character is built. You decide now whether you're going to tell the truth. So that when you're under pressure, truth is just part of who you are. You choose your friends carefully now. So that when someone encourages you to do something wrong, you already know where you stand. You develop discipline now. So when important opportunities come, you'll be ready for them. You're all growing up so fast. Your time is coming. You know, for some of you, only a few short weeks. You'll be on to someplace after Maisha Mapya. You learn to pray now so that when trouble comes, you know how to turn to God. You listen to correction now so pride doesn't control your future. You learn to obey Jesus now before that storm comes. And as you become older, you're going to receive more freedom. It's already happening. Your parents and teachers will not always be beside you. More of your decisions are going to become your responsibility. Freedom does not mean that nothing matters. Freedom means that your character becomes increasingly important. You know, when an adult is standing beside you, rules may control your behavior. But when nobody is watching, what's inside, your foundation, is what controls your behavior. That's why one of the most important questions you can ask yourself in your whole life is this. Are you ready for this question? Who am I when no one's watching? Am I honest only when I think I'm going to get caught? Do I work only when a teacher's standing next to me? Do I behave differently depending on which friends are around me? Do I say things online or in messages that I never say in front of my parents or teachers? Do I hide things because I know that they're wrong? The person that you are privately becomes the person that you are publicly. You know, during the tech challenge, some of you stood in front of others and explained why your structure should hold up. You could point to the blueprint. You could explain how all the parts work together. Imagine that someone asked you to explain the blueprint of your life. What would you say? What values are guiding your decisions? What are you building upon? Why do you believe that your life is going to stand when the pressure comes? And it will come. Will you be able to say, I'm building my life on the teachings of Jesus. I will not always make the right choice, but His truth is my blueprint. When I fail, I'll admit it, ask for forgiveness, and return to what He's taught me. The Bible is not only a book of good stories, it gives us a blueprint for a life that can stand. It teaches us that truth matters. It teaches us that our bodies and our choices matter. It teaches us to respect others because they're created by God. It teaches us that forgiveness is stronger than revenge. It teaches us that serving others is greater than trying to make ourselves important. It teaches us that courage sometimes means I'm going to stand above the crowd, apart from the crowd. It teaches us that our values come from God, not from our own marks, not from our appearance, our possessions, or our approval of other people. That blueprint must become part of the way that we build us. You know, this holiday is coming up, starting tomorrow. It's going to give you more freedom. You're going to spend less time under the supervision of these teachers. You may spend more time with friends at home, in the neighborhood, or online. The holiday is not a holiday apart from your character. The decisions you make during the holiday are still building your life. How will you use your time? Who will influence you? What will you watch? What are you going to listen to? How will you speak to your family? How will you respond when somebody asks you to do something that you know is wrong? What will you do when nobody's watching? Those are not small questions, those are foundation questions. Some of you may look back at this term and know that you did not build very well in every area. It's okay. Maybe you lied, maybe you cheated, maybe you treated someone badly, you ignored correction, you neglected your studies, you became involved in something that you knew wasn't right. That doesn't mean your life's finished. Okay? Doesn't mean that your life is finished. Just like when students tested their structures, they have discovered a weak point. And a good builder doesn't pretend that the weakness isn't there. You go back and you study it, and you change the design, and you strengthen the structure, and you try again. God allows us to be honest about the weak places in our lives. It's beautiful that He does that. You can admit what you've done. You can ask God for forgiveness. You can apologize to someone that you've hurt. You can tell the truth about something that you've hidden. And you can change a friendship that's influencing you in the wrong direction. Please. You can ask a teacher, a parent, a pastor, a trusted adult for help. The welfare office is open. You can ask them for help. Come and talk with them. And you can begin rebuilding. You can start now. Many of you are beginning to think about the future. You may be wondering what school you're going to attend. I don't know if any of you know, like in grade 9, do you know where you'll be going to grade 10? You do? Ah, good. Okay. Nice. You haven't been there. You don't know exactly what it's like, but you're going to wonder what it's like. You might wonder what career you choose and what kind of success you're going to have. Those are important questions, but there's another question that comes before them that you have to answer, and that is, who are you becoming? You can become highly educated and still be dishonest. You can have a successful career and still treat people badly. You can earn money and still destroy relationships. You can be admired publicly while living a life with no peace inside. Education, it gives you tools and opportunities. Character is going to determine what you do with them. Your marks, your grades may help open a door, but your character is going to determine what happens after you walk through it. God cares about your studies, but He is not only interested in your grades. He cares about your heart and your decisions, your integrity, and the way that you treat other people. As you leave for this holiday, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions, okay? Are you ready? First, what is the blueprint for my life? Am I allowing the teaching of Jesus to guide me? Or am I allowing friends, emotions, popularity, and pressure to make my decisions? Question number 2. Where is my structure weak? You only have to answer these for yourself. It's between you and God. Where is my structure weak? Is there an area that I've been lying, cheating, hiding, making excuses, treating someone badly, or refusing correction? And number 3, and here's your assignment for the break. What am I going to strengthen during this holiday? It's not a holiday from your character. It's not a holiday from building your life. Do not choose something simply because it sounds impressive. Choose something real. Maybe you need to begin praying each morning. Maybe you need to read a chapter of the Bible regularly. Maybe you need to work on a subject you find difficult. Maybe you need to help at home without complaining. Maybe you need to change the way you speak to people. Maybe you need to limit something that is influencing you negatively. Maybe you need to tell the truth about something that you've been hiding. Just choose one of those areas and ask Jesus to help you survive. You're not going to build a strong life in one day, and a strong structure is built one part at a time, according to a good plan, with each part connected properly to the others. Your life is built the same way. Your choices matter. Your friendships matter. Your habits matter. Your words matter. Your private decisions matter. Your relationship with Jesus matters. Because one day there's storms that are going to test what you are building. Do not wait until the storm arrives to think about the foundation. Build it now. Use the right blueprint. Listen to Jesus and put His words into practice, so you can build that life that will stand. Hear Jesus, obey Jesus, and build strength. Let us pray. Lord, thank you for bringing us to the end of this school term. Thank you for the knowledge we have gained, the challenges we faced, and the people who helped us. Thank you for giving us your word as a blueprint for our lives. Help us not only know what you teach, but put it into practice. Show us the weak places in our lives and give us courage to be honest about them. Lord, help us and help me tell the truth. Help us and me resist pressure. Help me and us choose our friends wisely and accept correction. Work hard and Lord, help us treat others with kindness and respect. As we leave for this holiday, help each one of us strengthen one part of our foundation. Lord, keep every student safe. Guide our decisions and help us build lives that will stand when the storms come. In Jesus' name.